Hey, welcome to another episode of Dave's Imaginations. Today we're going to do another episode of Burrek, Grumbleforge, and the Tyrant of Zhentil's Keep. Stay with me. Yeah, so let's flip over to the notes. And in the last episode, we found Burrek finding his way across the Anarok Desert and through the border forest. Burrek was making his way to the Zhentil Keep. There, when he gets there, he learns that Aumantor Hawkhelm has been murdered by an orc assassin, supposedly, and an orc horde of tens of thousands is marching unchecked across the Ride, which is the country just north, of where they're at. Pardon me. A half-orc female protests to this proclamation, though, in disbelief. She protests in disbelief, blaming something called the Black Network, and then she is grabbed by the guards and thrown in jail. Burrek, not really wanting to get involved, finds his way to the scoundrel's tankard, and there he decides to enter into a pit battle with Kromm Daggerfist. Now, can Burrek defeat Kromm in a bloody pit match? Let's find out right now. So added some threads. Battle Kromm, and then I added who killed Aumantor Hawkhelm, and who or what is the Black Network, and are the orcs really to blame? Let's jump over to the document. So, where are we? The dwarven warrior looks up at me and up and down me and laughs. Is this the best you can find, Pedrick? I'll make short work of this fool. Kromm wears a belt stocked with throwing daggers, and there is also a vicious-looking black-handled dagger. Why isn't this dwarf better armed, I think? But I won't be bringing it up. 150 gold piece purse. After all, I look back up at his face, which is extensively scarred, and grimace as Kromm cracks his mouth in a malicious smile, revealing rows of rotten teeth. Ready then? He asks, mockingly. And in the battle, if I flip over to Foundry, he had thrown a dagger with a critical hit, sinking it into my shoulder. I rip it out, and as he moves to the center to the ring, I match his position and I move forward as well. And with lifting Bonnie over my side, it's my turn to swing back. Kromm. And so with Bonnie, I will make my swing as I go check my stats. And with my great axe, two-handed swing, I make my swing with a +5 to hit. Can I hit Kromm? He critical hits me. I'll critical hit him right back. We'll see how he likes this. So, again, in my game, with a critical hit, I do full damage plus a roll. So on that D20, with my great axe, my +1 great axe, I get a D12 plus 3 damage. So full damage is 15. 15 plus another D12 plus 3. 15 plus another D12 plus 3 is 1 plus 3 is 4, 19. And that's why I do it this way. Because when it rolls like that, twice 4 would have been 8. That's not much of a critical hit. But 15 plus 4 is 19. That's a nice strong hit on Kromm. Taking 15 points of damage. All right. And we flip back over to... so we flip... as we trade blows, move forward to each other, and he will pull out his dagger and make a swing back. So with his dagger, his black poison dagger, he draws a long blade, something just short of a short sword, and he makes his swing, and he has a +5, +6 to hit with his dagger. 11. Is 11 enough to hit me? I don't think so. Not with my chainmail that prevents all my stealth. My armor class is 17. He swings with the dagger, draws across my chain, and does no damage at all. And I laugh at him. Is that all you got? As I swing back. Famous last words, right? So we'll see. 5 plus my 5 to hit is 10. I miss as well. So, yeah. 2 strong hits, and we'll see how you do now, dwarf. My kin, I would think, would do better. As he swings back, he misses again, as we both seem to be weakened by our initial blows. But there, finally, with Bonnie, I raise up as pluck him upwards, dragging it across his chest with my great axe. And so, with the D12 plus 3, I do 11 points more damage. 11 plus 15 is 26. Is he still up? How many hit points did our friend have? 26. So I knock him unconscious. I stand over his body. Yeah. Indeed, I would think the dwarf would be more difficult. And the crowd goes wild. Let's see what our audio says here. I should have played this all along. As we trade blows and Kromm finally goes down, I take Kromm down and the crowd goes wild. And then, let's see what it says to do next. If I'm victorious, we go to 407. 407. Alright. I've reduced Kromm to 0 hit points. I knew to stop short as the fight was not to death. Kromm, dagger fist, was lying on the ground, panting heavily. Well met, sir, he croaks as he's absolutely spent. The referee comes forward with a pouch of gold for me, 150 gold pieces of it. He grabs your hand and thrusts it in the air. And my victory is met with a rousing roar of approval. With a nod, Kromm, and to the crowd, I leave the ring to the cheers of my newfound adoring fans. Not eager to attract too much attention, I quickly climb down the stairs. But before I head back to the bar area, and I look at Kromm and I say, hey, good match. And I flip him a gold coin. The next drink is on me. The crowd in the scoundrel tankard is quickly thinning, heading home. So there on. Only a few people left in the bar, talking quietly over their pints of ale. Those who witness the pip-outs are filtering up from downstairs, loudly discussing the merits of the various champions as they leave. I realize that it grows late, and I need to find somewhere to stay for the night. Night is now falling, and I start walking towards the market square, checking the main thoroughfare and side streets for suitable inns. As I walk down the streets that lead off that main street, I see a small figure slumped on a stoop, taking regular swigs of a whiskey bottle. As I approach, I catch sight of the halfling's face. He looks absolutely miserable. I bid him a good night, if only to try and cheer him up a bit. I say, you have a good night here. And he says, is it? Is it, really? It's been a while since I had a good night. Anyway, fairly well, stranger. I pause, I slump, fine. I stop and I ask the sorrow man if it troubles him or do I continue for my combinations. I take the moment. 408. I ask the dejected halfling why he's so miserable. Through a thick, drunken haze, he peers up at me, and as if struggling to understand. Why am I so sad? He replies. I'm ruined, my friend. Absolutely ruined. My business is in tatters. I sit myself down and ask him questions further. Slowly, I manage to coax the full story out of him. A halfling, whose name is Wendal Wheatfields, runs Wendal's Essential Victuals, selling meats and vegetables and dry grains and other items to various hospitality establishments across Zhentil's keep. I keep the whole city fed. He boasts at one point. Wendal tells you that the thieves have been pilfering his goods for some weeks now. At first, it was just a sack of grain, and here a crate of potatoes there. But lately, they've been taking more and more. And just last night, they cleaned me out completely. Everything gone. I have the capital to restock my inventory, but I can't go on like this. I discovered from Wendal that he keeps all his goods in a cellar, selling from his shop fronts upstairs. Customers walk in off the street, and the doors are triple locked every night. There were never any signs of forced entry, which led Wendal to think that someone could be using magic to teleport in. But he soon dismisses that. Teleporting is to steal potatoes and flour? Why would anybody bother to do that? There's a bank 2 doors down. Well, takes a long swig of his whiskey. Then I found it, he says, turning to meet my gaze. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and he's now very drunk. Or rather, my friend Aumantor found it. Found what, I ask? A secret tunnel leading downstairs beyond. He pauses, shaking his head. Who knows what's down there? Thugs, most likely, stealing from my storeroom and reselling it on the black market. I ask him if he had informed the city guard, but he laughs. Zhentil? He laughs derisively. They're no help, especially not to a small-timer like me. Didn't you know that Bane is the god of the city? No, friend. Kindness is in short supply around here. I'm afraid I can't afford mercenaries. So that's me. I'm done, I'm afraid. He takes a long swig of his whiskey, nearly draining the bottle. I can't help but pity this poor little fellow. And I also can't help thinking that depending on what is down those stairs, this is probably something that you could help him out with. Do I offer to help Wendal's problem? Or give Wendal a consoling pat on the back and then leave to continue searching for the inn? I hate to see people victimized. We have to help them. I tell Wendal Wheetfields that I would be more than happy to check out what's at the bottom of those stairs. I've seen enough oppression already in the Moonsea to last me a lifetime. It's time someone showed a little humanity around here. Wendal buries his face in my chest. A small guy, smaller than me, and throws his arms around me, sobbing profusely. Oh, thank you, friend, he bawls. You have no idea. I can't even face my wife anymore. This has nearly done me in. I'll give you whatever I can. I can't accept money from this little guy. He's gone through enough. Oh, take a point of inspiration for my kindness. Very nice. Don't mind if I do. Wendal's jaw drops at my offer to investigate his problem for free. Sent by the gods you are, he marvels in a hushed voice. I knew one day my luck would turn. I just knew it. He offers me the last of his whiskey. Together you toast to the mission ahead. Wendal tells you he is too far drunk now to do anything but stagger home and fall into bed. But he gives me directions to his place of business and tells me to come there tomorrow night, 3 hours after the close of business. Note the code word help Wendal on my character sheet. Well, I will add that to my notes. That will be a thread. I'll copy that, and I will go to my Word document, and we'll add that. Battle Kromm, we'll say that's done. And we will add help Wendal find what's at end of tunnel at Wendal Wheatfields store. And now I really must find an inn, which I can do by going to 221. Play it. 221. I walk through the streets of Zhentil Keep, looking for somewhere to spend the night. Make an investigation roll. All right. Don't mind if I do. I'm afraid that's a natural one. Will I be sleeping on the streets? I pound the streets of Zhentil Keep for half an hour or so, searching for an inn. The drizzle turns into a proper rain as I walk, and night falls completely. The streets are wet and empty. Everyone has retreated to the golden glow of their homes for the evening. Finally, I find a modest-looking establishment called the Stout Miner. I like the sounds of that. I enter dripping wet and greet the innkeep with a nod. "Rooms are 2 good gold pieces a night," she announces matter-of-factly, "and I'll not have any hijinks. No guests in the room after dusk, and breakfast is served an hour after sunup." I just shell out the 2 gold pieces to the portly woman, and I see a stack of maps on the front desk, pocket-sized maps of Zhentil Keep. If I cannot afford a room, I can afford the room. I take one, and then the woman says, indicating the maps, "They're free, courtesy of Lord Manchun." I grab one. I retire to my room with the map and study it carefully, thinking about what parts of the city I will visit tomorrow. I retire to my room with the map and study it carefully, thinking about what parts of the city I'll visit tomorrow. Return to map 1 in the maps booklet, map on entry at the end of the adventure booklet. I look it over carefully and I think about what I might go visit tomorrow. Finally, sleep catches up with me. The voices in my head finally drowned out by the exhaustion of the day. I drift off into a deep slumber on a surprisingly comfortable bed. I regain all my hit points after the long rest. Very nice. I wake in the morning and take breakfast downstairs, gruel hot cakes with a sweet syrup. Thanking the innkeeper, I walk out to the street and survey the scene before me. Carts trundle toward the market square where merchants are already setting up. The day is fine and clear, and all about the locals and travelers go about their business. Unfurling my map, I study the different areas of Zhentil Keep and consider what parts I should explore. Where should I go? I'm at the Stout Miner. We have the Grand Temple of Bane. We have a Temple of Aumantor. I have one of their holy symbols in my pack. We have the Scimitar Street, the Market Square, Arcane Lane, the Zhentil Arms, the Zhentil Barracks. I have no cause to go there. I think I'll go seek Aumantor's temple, the sun god. Maybe they could do something about the voices I hear in my head. Let's go there. Aumantor temple. On the back of my map is scrawled a brief description of each area. As I move between locations, I may cross a green dot, in which case roll for a random encounter. Table next page. Aumantor temple. Not everyone is. It says on the back of the map here that the Aumantor temple. Not everyone is as enlightened as the Zents. This temple to the minor sun god and the other gods in the Tyrant pantheon is mainly placed here for outlanders, presided by Eldar the Pious, novice priest formerly of Waterdeep. On the map, you'll see entry numbers pertaining to each of these areas. You may visit these areas by going to the numbered entries, but each location takes time, 1 progress point per location. You'll have time to visit 4 locations before nightfall. At any time, I may choose to conclude the day's business in Zhentil's Keep and return to the inn where I stayed last night. Go to 311, it says. Add 1 progress point. 1. Add 1 progress point if you have only just arrived at Aumantor Temple. You cannot have more than 4 progress points. If this puts you to 5 progress points, do not read below and go immediately to 132. This is my first progress point. Aumantor Temple is tucked away in the northwestern area of Zhentil Keep, behind artisan workshops. In the semi-industrial area, unlike a black altar, which sits among the main clerical region of the city. As I walk toward it, I see many different races and peoples from all over Faerun, but not many Zents. It seems Bane is the deity of choice in this city, and given that Aumantor is Bane's mortal enemy, I can't help but think that this temple is a token of gesture. Aumantor's face, a radiant sun, is positioned right over the main entrance. I enter the cool interior, and the heady smell of incense envelops me. There's a fountain set in the middle of this main temple room, which provides a soft, watery background noise for worshippers who sit peacefully around the temple floor, contemplating the large Aumantor idol which graces the altar. A priest rings a bell as he chants an ethereal prayer and presents foodstuffs to the idol. In alcoves all around the wall are other small idols representing other deities of Faerun: Ilmater, the god of endurance; Torm, god of courage; Tyr, god of justice; Shantae, goddess of agriculture. The list goes on and on. I look for a tempest. This appears to be a catch-all for worshippers of any deity, and that isn't Bane. Glancing around the worshippers, I see that this could be a chance to gain some valuable information. There are all sorts of individuals here, or perhaps I could use the time to pray for some boon from Aumantor. Do I approach the altar and pray to Aumantor? I didn't think so. He's not my god. To approach or talk to a priest, go to 10. I might do that. To go and talk to some elves who are sitting over by the south wall, I could do that. If I feel I have spent enough time in this peaceful oasis, leave and depart to the street outside. Let's go talk to the priest. I quietly make my way to a nearby female priest, resplendent in her robes of gold. "Welcome to our temple, traveler," she says warmly. From her accent, I pick her as a Zent, but a non-Bane worshipping Zent? That's rare. What shall I ask her about? She's quite busy with various tasks of worship, but probably has time to answer one question. Should I ask her about the Bane faith and how it's so prominent here? Or should I ask her if she has any holy oil that I could take it in exchange for a donation to the temple? What other religions are present in this moon sea? Let's start with oil. I could use some oil. 168. The priest responds that they do not have oil, but if I have some plain oil, she can bless it for me, which she will do for a donation of 20 gold pieces. Alternatively, a flask of Aumantor blessed holy water will being sold outside the temple for 25 gold pieces each, a limit of 2. The priest wishes me a good day and wanders off to attend her duties. Flasks of holy water. 2 flasks of holy water. I want to talk to another priest. A different female, perhaps. Find another one working in the area. And I want to ask her about other religions. There are many religions in the Moonsea, friend. In the Malvant, they worship Gond, the Wanderbringer, Leviatar, and others, and the wealthy sometimes worship Sheres out of their love of decadence. In Hillsfar, they revere Tempest. You don't say. As they do in Mulmaster, but in that city,
and in Zhentil, the evil bane reigns supreme. It's a shame to see so many innocent folk led astray, but the gods grant us free will. It's up to us what we do with it.
I thank the priest for her time, and she wanders off to attend to her duties. Yeah, so they say, Hilsfar and Mulmaster Tempest. Hilsfar, as I jot this down in my journal, as I secretly worship Tempest, but I don't let people know that. Gaze around this place that seems to be an altar for all gods, looking for the holy symbol of Tempest. Now, what should I do? Those elves seem to be, maybe they know something. I approach the elves in an attempt to engage them in conversation, but they look slightly suspicious to me. Make a performance check. Why would I make a performance check? I'd make a performance check. DC 11, I pass. If I'm successful, go to 421. 421. The elves, one female and one male, engage in me in conversation. They don't appear to know much as useful to me, but are certainly friendly enough. The female elf introduced herself as Saline. She tells me that the main elven settlement in the Moonsea area is Elventree, which is near the forest of Aumantor. Both these elves are from there. Mithranor is also nearby, and there are many elves within the ranks of the Knights of Mithranor who are, according to these two, the Moonsea's best hope for freedom. I notice that Saline says this last statement with some amount of passion. The Moonsea is best hope for freedom, she says. Should I ask her more about Zhentil Keep or thank them? Well, I've got the conversation started. I might as well ask them more.
What brings me here? She asks. That you are perhaps better off not knowing. Besides, I've only just met you. How do I know I can trust you?
I sit down next to them. Tell me, you repeat, you can trust me. She looks down at me for a long time, holding my gaze as if peering into my soul.
Very well, she says. My name is Saline Elisadril, and I come on a mission from Elventree on the south shore of the Moonsea.
She pauses here, sighing.
My mother is the warden of Elventree, and her name is Elinor Elsadil. Even though we are peaceful folk, still we are not hidden enough to escape the prying eyes of the powers that be. Fazul Shambril, High Priest of Bane, came to Elventree some weeks ago looking to court my mother's favor, to see if the elves there would back Manshun if ever a war was to come. She denied him, saying that the elves wanted no part of Manshun's plans, so he left, seemingly accepting her decision. But later on that night, he had one of his minions, a Zentrum spy, creep in and steal a precious artifact, the wand of Elven Mage. That is treasured wand that has been in the Elsadil family for generations and is very powerful. He means to use it in some war that is coming, and by doing so will stain our family's legacy forever. And so I am here to retrieve it, and I have a friend with me. We are going to break into Fazul's tower and retrieve the wand.
Should I offer to help Saline's quest? Otherwise, wish her luck, all luck, and go on my way. This place is getting more and more complicated. Yeah, fine, I'll help her. She's taken aback by my offer and says,
"Well, I won't say no. We could be killed, you know, and I don't have anything to pay you with. But you will be keeping power out of the hands of Manshun, so that's something. Think on it,"
Saline says.
"If you still want to help, meet us at Eastbridge, North End, 4 hours after dusk." If I still want to help Celine achieve her goals, take note of the code word wand quest. All right, we'll add that to our notes here. That's not the right screen. Threads, wand quest. Help Celine recover wand. All right, I've done enough here at Aumantor. I think it's time for me to move on. If I feel like I've spent enough time in this peaceful oasis, it's time to leave and depart the street outside. Now, where should I go? As I look at my map, let's go to Scimitar Street. It's closest. Maybe they have something of interest. 86, it says. This is my second progress point. I can do up to 4 in a day. The street is populated by adventurers of all races and all manners of characters. Street vendors hawk food to passerbys, and beggars beg for food money, jangling metal cups. The street is populated by adventurers of all races and all manner of characters. Street vendors hawk food to passerby, and beggars beg for money, jangling metal cups as I pass. Ahead, I see a patrol of Zhentil soldiers, and I stop, turning my back to them, pretending to examine the jewelry laid out by a street hawker. From what I've learnt of the city, I decide it is probably best not to have my face seen about too much. Eventually they pass, and I continue past smiths, armorers, and weapon shops of all descriptions. Several look promising to my experienced eye. Do I want to visit any of these? If you choose to visit 3, take another progress point. There's mail plate and hide, a sword in the forge, and Gunther's general supplies. I feel well stocked at the moment, so I think I'm done shopping for now. I'll return to map 1. I think it's time to go to the Market Square 33, which crosses a green dot. On the map, you'll see entries pertaining to each of these regions. As I move between locations, I may cross a green dot, in this case, roll for a random encounter. We shall do that. D6 random encounter. If you get a roll you've already had, re-roll unless you roll no encounter. Alright. Let's roll a random encounter. 1. No encounter. Okay. Alright, so no encounter. So then I guess I just go on to the location. The Market Square. All manner of goods are available here. Vegetables, fruits, fresh meat, fish, meats, and food from all over the Moonsea, as well as interesting books, perfumes, and trinkets. Whatever I need, there is a merchant here to satisfy it. I think of Wendal, and I wonder how I can help him. I'd like to get that done sooner versus later. Following Wendell's directions, I navigate my way to his place of business. Despite the late hour, there are still a few Zents about, drunk staggering home from the tavern. A trio of bards playing merry songs for the nighttime wanderers. A man selling hot stew and fresh bread rolls at the side of the street. It's all going on. I finally reach Wendell's Essentials Victuals and see a light coming on from inside. Knocking at the door, I only have to wait a few moments when Wendal Wheetfields presents himself before me, looking a lot more composed this time. "Ah, you came," he says cheerfully. "I was starting to wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing." Wendal shows me inside and provides me with a bite to eat and a glass of wine before addressing the issue of his cellar. "Shall we go take a look?" I ask. Shall we go take a look?" he asks, and I nod. Wendal leads me down a narrow flight of stairs to his basement, where the cellar is situated. It is cool and dark in the merchant's basement area, and he
He kindles a lantern, which he sheds a golden ray down the narrow stone passage. Soon I emerge in the cellar. Wendal leads me to a bare patch in the wall and reaches behind a piece of stonework, activating some hidden mechanism. A low door, more of a slab of white stone, slides to the left, revealing a passageway beyond. My friend found it purely by accident, he tells me. He was helping me move some crates, and he knocked this part of the wall with the edge of a crate, and it just slid open. It took us a while to figure out what he'd done, but there you go. I put my head through the hole and peer down into the darkness. A roughly hewn stairway carved out of the earth itself leads down into the darkness. Looking closer, I can see a multitude of footprints. Let's take a closer look at these footprints. It says a survival check, so DC 12. Survival, I have a +2, so that's a 13. I'm successful. Go to 298. I've definitely seen such treks before, near the lairs of goblin tribes. These are goblin prints. I ascend the stairs to 55. I nod to Wendal.
See you soon, he says. I'll have a dram of my finest whiskey to share with you once you get back.
Carefully, I descend the stairs, primed for any sudden movement, but it is utterly quiet down here. Only musty smell of damp earth greets me as I descend the crudely hewn stairs. When I reach the bottom, I see a passageway leading off into the darkness. As I proceed, it bends left, winding around the corner. It is eerily quiet. Only the occasional drop of water echoes through these depths, punctuates the stillness. Ahead, I see an entranceway to the west that leads into a cavern. Past the entrance, the wide north passageway slowly turns northeast, and I see near end of a narrow bridge that runs over the chasm. Should I check the cavern to the left or continue to the bridge? I continue to the bridge. I continue forward and following the passageway as it bends around to the right. After walking for a few minutes, I see that a wide abyss that bisects the passage like some huge ghastly maw. Only a narrow earthen bridge spans the chasm. Gingerly, I walk across, careful to keep my balance. I reach the far side of the bridge in one piece and continue down the passage beyond. Once past the chasm, I continue walking for some time, at least a half an hour by my reckoning. Finally, I reach the junction where a passage branches off to the north. Should I go to the north? Continue east. And continue east. I move further down the corridor, heading east for the first time, hearing a noise other than the sound of my own footsteps. Echoing down the long passageway comes sound of hammering metal on rock, multiplied many times over. It sounds like a mining crew or someone busy extending a tunnel. Then another passage branching off to the north. Noise doesn't seem to be coming from down here, though. It seems to be coming from ahead to the east. Should I branch off to the north or continue east? I think I'll go north this time. I turn down the second north passage and follow it as it bends around the left. Then, at its end, I see iron bars, beyond which appears to be beds. I see female humanoids, goblins, sitting on the beds and tending to their young. Should I approach the bars? This is a scary detail I'm on. Let's approach the bars, 97. I walk up to the bars and look into the rooms full of female and infant goblins. Females regard me with utter shock, although I note that they don't appear afraid or malicious toward my presence, which I find a bit odd. But then I wonder I wonder why the bars are there. Are they being kept prisoner? I'll ask him. Why are you being kept here? I ask, knowing that most goblins and orcs have at least a scant common. Will they speak to me? I make a persuasion check. 10. How's my persuasion? Persuasion is +1. Maybe not. Unsuccessful. Despite my efforts to engage the female goblin in conversation, she seems suspicious of me and won't talk. Turning away, she retreats to her bed and her waiting infant. The others take her lead and don't approach, despite my efforts to communicate. After a while, I give up and return to the junction. I leave the passage and return to the junction, taking the passage heading east. I stalk quietly along the narrow corridor heading east, the sounds of metal on stone hammering and picking getting louder as I progress. Eventually, I come to yet another north branching passage. The noise appears to be coming from down here somewhere, if my ears do not deceive me. I take a deep breath and head down this passage towards the noises. I make my way down a long passageway hewn from raw stone, and the sounds of hammering and picking grow ever louder. I approach quietly and soon see light coming from the end of the tunnel. I see humanoid creatures, goblins, I realize, busy chipping away at the sheer rock of face. They are all chained together at the feet, watching over by a large bugbear with a battle-axe over his shoulder. He moves along the ranks, barking orders at the goblins. What should I do? Do I make a surprise attack on the bugbear? Walk up and introduce myself to the bugbear? What requires? I don't think so. Those are my choices, though. Cast a spell in an attempt to free the goblins. Well, I am no wizard. I guess I will try to make a surprise attack. I tiptoe behind the bugbear as he moves along the chain gang. Roll a stealth. Not my best attribute. But this time I succeed. Oh, I have disadvantage. I don't succeed. If unsuccessful, then the bugbear notices me, approaches, and spins around to face you, raising his battle axe and roaring with rage. Go to the bugbear enforcer combat sheet. Rawr! I raise Bonnie to meet him as we begin a battle. Combat notes. Place tokens. Bugbear PC. Use map 18, it says. Place tokens. Be bugbear enforcer PC. You roll initiative. All right, initiative. I am purple. 15. I have the initiative. All right, so I swing my Bonnie at him. +16 +5. Is it 5 or is it 6? Yeah, +5 is a 21. Will certainly hit. And how much? I do 7 plus 3 points of damage, 10 points of damage to the bugbear. And now it's his turn to swing. And he swings, and he has a battle axe of his own. He's only doing a d8 damage, +2. Let's see how he does. 2, he misses. I'll swing back. 6 + 5 is 11. His hit point, his armor class is 16. I miss. His turn to swing back. 6 + 4 is 10. That'll miss. I swing back. 15 + 5 is 20. With a 1 on the die of 4. He takes another 4 points of damage. He's to 14 as our battle continues. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. I think that was a crit. But when I try to stabilize it, I think, all right, so I'll just have to be sure to keep that consistent. That if it seems cocked, I'll rattle it. And if it moves, it moves. I'll do that for me as well. 16, though, plus his 4 is a 20. He only rolled for 1 damage as I take 3 points of damage. All right. As we trade blows back and forth. 11 plus my 5 is a 16. 16 is just enough to hit. 4 plus my 3 is 7 points of damage. As he is 17 points of damage. He still has plenty of life left to him. He turns around again with his battle axe. It swings 19. He hits me for
4 plus 2 is 6 points of damage. I'm 9 points of damage. We keep trading blows back and forth, back and forth. 10 plus 5 is not enough. Oh, he gets his crit on me. Now, again, as I crits, I do full damage plus a d8 plus full damage plus normal damage. So I take a d8 plus 2 is 10. 10 points of damage plus another d8 plus 2 plus another d8 plus 2 is another 4 points of damage. I've taken 23 points of damage from this guy. And where's my hit points at this point? My total hit points, this says, is 34, which I don't believe is right. So I will take my swing, and I'll miss. So I will do my recovery features traits. I will use my second wind. Once per short use, I can use a bonus action to short wind. I use my bonus action to recover 1d10 plus 3 hit points. I recover 9. 23 minus 9 is 14. But it's back to his turn as he takes his swing. Where did my die go? There it is. 10 plus his 4? 10 plus his 4 to his 14. That's not enough to hit me with my armor class of 17. And I will swing back. Is that cocked? 15. 15 plus 6. 15 plus my 6 plus 5 is a natural 23 plus 6 is 6 points of damage. 17 plus 6 is 23. 23 of his 27 point. He's not looking so good. But he's resolute and continues to attack. 18 hits me for another 6 plus 2 is 8 points of damage. This is one tough bugbear. As I need to hit him. I need to put him down. 4. I'm going to use my action surge to take another swing. Still, 9 plus 5 is 14. Not enough to hit him. He swings back. 17 hits me for another 6 points of damage. 28. Could this be the end of Burrek Grumbleforge? As I swing. And I miss. Oh no. He swings. 11 plus 4 is 15. Not enough. This is getting tense. Natural 20. This should end the battle. As I do my 12 plus 3 is 15. This finally, my near end. I take my Bonnie. This has got to be it, Bonnie. I cut him down. I'm victorious. I break the chains, keeping the goblin slaves bound together. They all come up and thank me, grateful for their freedom. One comes up and grabs my arm, talking rapidly in fluent common. You have freed us, stranger, he breathes. Thank you, but we must defeat Grax, or all your effort will be in vain. I'm in no condition. Who's Grax? I ask. Our slave master, the goblin repeats, the one who is making us build these tunnels. He wants to tunnel all the way to dragon spines. He has the blessings of the powerful human Manchun to do so. He is in league with a wicked, evil man. Is he the one who has been stealing from the merchants? I ask, motioning back to the direction I came. The cellars of the merchants of Zhentil keep, or have you been stealing it for him? Goblin nods vigorously. Yes, he made us do it. The goblin, whose name is Zlug, tells me all that has been going on here. He and the other goblins have been down here tunneling passages for close to 4 years now. They made their way from their underground home in the south, chipping away through the rock, and now they are underneath the city of Zhentil Keep. By the time Zlug finishes talking to me, nearly all of the goblins have slunk off in fear of reprisals from the one they call Grax, whose lair is somewhere down the passage to the east. Zlug and his brother Slug, however, are not so cowardly and are waiting around to see what I'll do. I tell them that my mission to reclaim the goods of Wendal Wheatfields, and they brighten at this.
They tell me that Grax directed them to steal from the cellars of many merchants, and that they will help me reclaim the goods. They also tell me that there is no way I will be able to fight Grax alone. He has a vicious worg named Chopper, who has killed many of their goblin comrades.
Facing Grax and Chopper alone, that would be suicide for you, stranger.
Slug and Zlug offered to help me in the quest. On the body of the bugbear enforcer I find the battle axe and a short sword. After a brief argument of who gets with the battle axe and the slug, Slug and Zlug take these weapons, testing them out with a few swings. The two goblin brothers look malnourished, not particularly strong, but they assure me that their father trained them in the weapons from a young age, and they are keen to get their revenge on the bugbear tyrant who has made their lives misery for so long. Also, such a victory would ensure high status among the reputation when they return to the village. Once I'm ready, all three of you move back to the junction. Mine set the task of defeating Grax, the bugbear tyrant. Carefully, I creep down the passageway towards the east. Slug and Zlug close behind me. He's down here somewhere, Slug growls. He keeps all the food stores down here, too. All the good stuff. We've never been allowed. Down here, all we get is a few dry biscuits and a bit of bread each day. This draws a hateful sneer from Slug. After some time, I reach the T-junction where the passageway runs north and south. From the south, a chill wind blows. Slug raises his nose to the air. I know that smell anywhere, he says. It's the smell of our goblin caves, many miles from home. Many miles away. Our home, Slug says quietly. Then they both look north and frown. The passage in that direction looks freshly hewn in comparison to the south passage, which looks centuries old. It's all coming back to me, Slug says. We came from the south to here. Grax lured us here, just a few of us, with promises of gold and riches. Once we were here, his true plan was revealed. He lures the goblins here all the time, enslaving them with the help of his bugbear henchmen. I ask him if there are any more bugbears apart from the enforcer I encountered. Haven't seen for a while, Slug says. They must be away south, recruiting new slaves. So it's just Grax then, I ask. And Chopper, Slug adds. As stealthily as I can, all three of us start moving up the passageway to the north. I think at this point is a good place to end. Okay, so Bjork's in a pickle, right? He's freed these goblins, but it took nearly all of his life to do it. He does have 2 healing potions, so that will help. But I don't know if it's enough to help him to face another bugbear and a worg. I don't know. We will have to see. And so that will be resolved next time on Dave's Imagination Presents Burrek Grumbleforge in the Tyrant of Zhentil's Keep. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If you did enjoy it, I would ask you to please like, subscribe, and until next time, take care.